Hi friends, so today we will talk about the basic and very popularly required SQL commands, SQL in a nutshell. So let's get started. So this video is in two sections. One is the easy part that will be probably half of the session, and then the next part will be a bit uh, higher difficulty. So feel free to see the first session only. Right. Uh, the thing is, we need to know SQL commands in development, software development, testing, and many other places. So that's why this video. So there are many commands we will see, and we will see practical example. Now, first thing is, where is this source code and everything available? So it is there available in my Google, in my GitHub repository, and the links and everything I will put it in the description. So SQL Commands Encyclopaedia. So the thing is, um, because many of the commands may be new to me, so I've used this Google Gemini AI tool and using it as a prompt based input, and it will give me the simple commands. Right. So this is the Google Gemini I have been exploring. So this link is the where I have given all the commands and the response from the Google Gemini or the AI that I have used. Okay, so let's get started. So first thing is, uh, I need to set up the database. So instead of doing the local installation, I'm using it as a Docker. So I have installed the Docker and downloaded the image. Okay, so by the time it boots up, we will see the Docker Compose and other files. So Docker Compose file is given in this. So there's a Docker Compose file. Yeah, so it's a Postgres Alpine uh, base image, and then it's on localhost admin password 123 port, and there is one init.sql file which will insert some default data when the testing starts. Okay, so it will create one customer table, product table, orders table, and will initialize every table with some 200 rows. Okay, this is just to have the testing. I mean the actual work started. Okay, now next thing is, okay, so there is no container as of now. There is only one image, the Postgres Alpine image, and there is no volume. Okay, so we'll start one container shortly. um, so yeah, we'll see the prompt file. So this is prompt file, and whatever I have been communicating with as a prompt to the AI Google Gemini, it is giving me the required output. So basically, what I'm trying is, I'm trying all the SQL commands which I know and which I don't know. As a simple example, I will be asking Gemini, okay, give me one command for inner join or full join or something like that, and it will give me a valid example that I will try and test in the actual actual Postgres SQL. Right. So first thing first, so I will have to start the Docker container. Okay. So the command is given here. Very simple. Docker compose up. So this is I'm running on in this folder where this is a Docker compose file and the init.sql file is present. So Docker compose up. Okay. So it is started, and if I so I'm using a front end which so you can interact with the database using command line tool also. There is this open source tool called as dbeaver. It's a openly available free tool like we can use, and I'm connecting to the database. So yeah, localhost same port, and uh, username admin and password the one which is given in the Docker compose file, and show all the database test connection success, and then okay. Right, so now we have the databases running. So note that not only have the database, we also have added the additional okay, I have to do a set as default, and then I have added the uh, tables, which is customer table, order table, and products table. Before that, let's see this e-commerce DB. So this is the main database where I have tables, customer, order, and products. And let's see the diagram. So the diagram is the order table, customer table, and product table. So this is the key for customer ID is coming from this orders table, and the key for ID is coming, this product table ID is coming from product ID from the orders table. So just a simple diagram. Okay, and the properties. Okay, now let's see the content of each folder. So there are some 200 rows entered for in each table. Okay, of course the key and everything is matched, and there is some data to work upon. Okay, so now let us open a new script. Okay, now here I will be trying this simple command. So the first target is to have this SQL commands, DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, DQL, and so on. So that's why I'm using this prompt. So I'm telling that you are an expert. I'm telling this prompt to the Google Gemini. You are an expert to database Docker Compose file generate, and have 2 3 databases which are interlinked. For example, a e-commerce product, right? So that's why we have 3 tables. So we got 3 tables here. Okay, customer table, order table, and product table. Okay, Docker commands file. Yeah, these 3 tables are created, and some sample data is created. Now again, the sample data is coming from this init.sql file. So the moment that I set Docker compose up, it will create the database, and it will insert these records, these 200 records in each table. Okay, right. So that is it. Then we'll see one by one commands. So first we'll see the uh, data query language. So simple, select star from customers, right? So I'm just getting the data for the customers table and all the columns I'm getting. Again, select query. So select query can be, you can have selected column names, right? So only first 2 columns, right? Okay, now DML, data manipulation language. So here there are insert, update, and delete. So I will do an insert. I will insert one new row with this new user Rob Miller, rob.miller at example.com. So let me insert. Okay, one row is affected, updated, and then I'll do a select just to confirm whether the data is reflecting. Yes, so this new user is added and the ID is 201. Okay, now update. So I'll just make the email change here. Okay, you see it is rob.miller, instead of that it is new rob.miller. So update command. Okay, one row updated, and then once again go and select, run the select query. So now there is no record found because the email ID changed. Okay, now delete this user. Okay, so one row affected or updated, and once again select. So there is, it's basically count the number of users having this new updated email ID. So there are 0 count. That means there is no user, or it is deleted. Okay, now let us see the DDL, data definition language. Provide a simple query for customer table with the create keyword. So here what we are doing, we are basically using a create keyword. So create keyword, we can create a table. Okay, so create a table called as reviews. So in e-commerce domain, we have to have the reviews. So I will create a table called as reviews. So if you refresh this, so this additional table called as reviews is created. Okay, with the normal columns ID, product ID, customer ID. In the, if you have reviews, then you have a rating, and then comment, review date, and those things, and some constant. So constant we'll see later, right? So drop drop command. So drop is basically to uh, delete a table completely. So drop the table, it will give a warning and say okay. So updated rows, because it's a table deletion, so there's no row. I'll just, so there is this reviews table, and if I refresh, the review table is gone. Okay, so that is the drop keyword. Okay, alter. So alter keyword having many other use cases. Okay, so alter, right? So alter table, modify data type or a default value, or you can have additional column, you can remove column, those kind of thing. So What I'll do, I'll in the customers table, I'll add one column, say phone number, and it's a 20 character variable, right? So the because it's a row addition, so there is no row affected. And then I'll go to customers table once again, refresh. So phone number column is added. Okay. Now truncate. So truncate is basically to delete a table. Okay. Um, I mean delete the table. So truncate, we will see one help here. So this prompt we are taking help truncate. Truncate remove all rows. Okay, it is basically remove all the rows from a table. Okay, so customer table. Now I don't want to you fire this command as of now because I have some data in the customers table, so I will not use it for now. Okay, right now there is a rename. So rename simply remains. So you can rename column country to territory, rename customer to clients, and so on. So I just do a rename. Okay, so in customers table there is a country column which is renamed to territory. So customer and refresh. So the countries column is changed to territory. Okay, now because there are some other calculations for the old column names, I'll have to revert it back again, revert it territory to country. Okay, so customer table, this territory will have to go back to country. Okay, right. So view keyword. So view is again to create a view basically as a temporary data for some refined data processing aspect. So let's do a view customer contact as a select first name, last name, email, country from customers, right? So I have created this view. You can see it here in the views. Refresh. So one view is created, customer contacts, and if I go on into it, there's a data. So this specialized view is created. Okay. You can also say select star from customer underscore contacts. Okay, fine. So yeah, select star from customer where the country is Canada. Okay, something like this. So let me just yeah. So we can get the refined output with the select query for a particular view. Right. So next we have DQL data query language extended. So we can have DQL. We have select basically, but some additional keywords. So DQL we have a where. So where we have seen where country equal to this, where country equal to that, and so on. Group by. So obviously it will group by some particular column. So group by category. Okay, so category wise it is taking showing the inventory value. Okay, so it's an e-commerce, so electronics goods are there for this much value, apparel, books, home, beauty are having this much value. Okay, right. So group by. Okay, and not null is one additional clause. Now, alias as. Okay, so as is basically to shorten some table name or some additional placeholder. So for example, if the table name is customers, right? So in practice or in production, if the table name is very long, like let's say e-commerce underscore customers underscore uh, India, right? So then the table name is very long, so instead of that we can use an as an alias. Okay, so alias can be a short name of the table in this example, and we are doing a select query. So we are getting the data, but the query writing is a bit easier. Okay, now uh, having keyword. So having is basically having with some condition. For example, if the count is more than 40. Okay, so select country count customer count. If the customer counts are more than 40, then from the customers table, then group by country, and if the count is more than 40, then again order by customer count. Okay, so let's see this. So it's basically some condition thing. Okay, so Germany is having 47 customer count, Canada is 47, UK 42, and like that. Okay, so it is basically some conditioning. Then distinct order by, so distinct is again very simple. It will give or filter only with the distinct uh, items. Okay, no repetition. And order by, so it will again order by ascending or descending. So from the customers table we are taking the country and order by country and ascending order. Okay, so let's see this. Okay, so the ascending order, Canada, Germany, India. Okay, instead of that we can say DESC, that's a descending order. Okay, like that. Fine. So we have a limit keyword. So limit is basically if the results are uh, millions of lines. Okay, any select query or any query, if the result is huge, the number of rows are huge, then we can limit it by limit keyword. Okay, so limit keyword. Yeah, so limit 5 means only 5 records will be shown here. Okay, now we'll move on to DQL. Again, same thing, extended part 2, where keyword with conditions. So exists keyword, exists condition. So select first name, last name, email from this customer. C is his alias. Where select one from orders O, where customer ID equal to C dot ID. So if you see this structure, we have seen the diagram. So something related to this particular um, IDs or keys. Okay, so we are matching the orders.customer ID with the customers.customer ID. Okay, so let's see this. Okay, so we have 200 records here. Okay, 130 records only. Okay, so there is a customer ID which should match with the ID of the order ID. Okay, order.customer ID and customer.id. Okay, now next is in keyword. So again some conditions. So if the I want to select by some criteria where the country is either USA or UK or India. Okay, so let's see this. Right, so you'll see only those countries which are mentioned here. So Canada is gone. Okay, let's say I will take out the USA, UK. Okay, only USA and UK. So we just do the USA and India. Okay, maybe the name is different, the UK name is different. Okay, now or keyword, something, some conditioning. So country is either Germany or Canada. So in or and in. Okay, so simply the difference is if you say or, then you have to mention every condition again, and if you say in, then in bracket you can just mention the expected values. Okay, so this is bit easy, but sometimes if you need clarity you can go for or. Okay, now and keyword, similar to or, it is an and condition. So right, so and select first name, last name, all these columns from customer, where country is this and some conditions. So two conditions, condition 1 and condition 2. Okay, so then it's an and condition. Not so simply it is the country is not United Kingdom, then it will give results. Like again, like is basically a pattern matching. So if I want the customers where the email ID is like something at the rate, so percentage is a while character. So in this case we'll just do one thing, and there is no email in the customer table, there is no row entry where the email is something at the rate gmail.com. So while character at the rate gmail.com. So I think it is everything is example.com. So let's run this. And yes, so every email ID is starting with the example.com, right? I like is again, let's see the I like related thing. So case sensitive node. So the like operator is case sensitive. If you want to perform a search that ignores capitalization searching for Gmail or Gmail, then use the I like. Okay, so non case sensitive. Okay, so we'll go for this. Okay, so there is the user called as robot we deleted, so that's why we are not getting any result. So it is matching. Okay, so the I like thing is working. Now any keyword, so any means again the or operation. So select star from this where amount total amount is more than 2500. So let's see. Right, so we have one customer where the any condition works. Okay, any customer, all, again all. So instead of any it is a or. Okay, sorry, instead of any it's a all keyword. Let's run this. Okay, so we have the name and price for the category office supplies, right? So with now greater than keyword. So greater than is basically some comparison. Okay, so we'll just fire this command first. So where the created at is a date column, and it should be above, it should be the date should be more than 1st Jan 2025. So these are the results. Okay, how many results we have? We have 200 results. Okay, fine. Let's do one thing. Customer stable, right? So customer stable. So what I'll do, I will make this change. Instead of 2026 I'll make it as 2021. Okay, and save. Okay, so let's see if it worked. Created ad. Okay, so there is some data mismatch. We'll do a ascending order. So there is one data is there. Okay, refresh. So we have 2021. Okay, and created ad. Okay, so we should get 199. Yes, because one record is having the date which is 2021. Okay, so it is working. The greater than is working. I think similarly we have a less than. So less than 2025, something like that. Okay, so we can just make this, instead of greater than, we make it as less than, and done. So we should have only one because it is 2021. Okay, now not greater than, not less than. Okay, so something should be exactly same. So let's run this. Right, so the country is not in UK, so there should be a country which is not UK. So just let me just sort descending order. So USA is there, UK is there, but there's no country with United Kingdom. Okay, right. So between keywords, again between is basically between some range. So the ID is between 10 to 50, so it will give the corresponding results. Okay, now we'll see DCL, which is a data control language. um, so far I think we have covered this DML. The DCL we'll see now, joins we'll see shortly. um, Order by we have seen, group by we have seen, having seen, alias we have seen, functions, window functions we'll see, and the where clause I think we have covered a lot of things. Okay, so we are uh, many things we have covered and many things are left. Okay, so DC data control language. So let's say grant. So grant is basically giving some access to a particular user. Okay, very simple example. So what I'm doing, I'm creating one user called as reporting user. Okay, so before that, if we see here, refresh. Okay, so if you see, these are the currently roles or the users, I would say. Now I will just create one user, reporting user. Okay, so fine. Now let me just refresh. Okay, so now you see this new user is the one which is added, and if I double click on it, so currently it can see the tables. Okay, but there is no permission. Okay, so if you want to give the permission, so that is how using that is using grant. So grant select on customer table to the reporting user. So what it means is, for this particular user, this user uh, has been granted permission to run the select query on the customers table. Okay, so if I run this query, okay, so what will happen if I go to reporting user again? I will just refresh. So reporting user will have access to customer table, but only select query, that is read only access. Okay, for other tables it is still not having the access or read write or whatever. So for customer table it has got that access. Okay, now if I want to revoke that, revoke delete on customers from reporting user. Okay, or this one, revoke select on table customers. Okay, so let me just run this command. Okay, so it is successful. If I go here, refresh, so the access will be revoked. Okay, so same thing. So for customers, the select all the access is gone. Okay, all the things which were granted, that is revoked. Okay, now joins. So again, joins is a very popular topic. So joins are used many of the times to have customized or selective data from multiple tables, so that a special condition is resolved or not, or a special condition the data if you want or not. So that can be done using joins. Normally join can be done on more than one table. Okay, so I want something from customer table, something from order table, something from sales table, and combine, I want to show some data or a dashboard. So that is uh, possible using joins. So simple join keyword. Okay, so join order as O on this particular condition. Okay, so customer.id equal to orders.customer id. Okay, so let's see. It's a very basic example. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so again it is doing a join of two tables. One is a customer table, orders table, and some condition. Okay, um, there are multiple types of joins. So join, yeah, inner join, full join, left join, right join. Okay, so we'll see one by one those very shortly, very quickly. So inner join. Okay, so inner join, we will just copy this command first. Okay, so inner join, again some condition. So all the joins are having some different conditions, that is what makes it different. Okay, so customer table, order table, and again the customer id and the customer.id based on that condition. Now we'll see on left join or outer join, left outer join. Okay, um, join orders on this thing. So if you see, there is a word called as, so there's a word called as Here there was a simple join. Now we have inner join, we have left join. So left join, again it is basically the first table everything and the things which are matching with the condition on the second table. So both if are combined, then it becomes a left join. So left join. Okay, so we got 270 rows. Okay, now right join or auto join. Right join, you see right word, right auto join. Okay, so we have got the data which is exclusively on the right hand side of the table, that is the second table, and the things which are matching from the first table. Okay, now we will see the full outer join. So this is basically uh, n into m combination. Okay, so here we will have a lot of rows. Okay, so the number of rows are 270 because it's a full join. Okay, now cross join, you see the word cross join. So cross join, again there are number of rows. Okay, so there will be huge number of rows for cross join. Normally cross join is not advised. Okay, now we will see the functions. Okay, so the functions, average functions, if you see here, the functions and the window function, that's we will focus on. So average, again simple, we want to do some averaging uh, on some numerical column. So average of the total amount from the orders table. Okay, so on an average, the average order which is seen is 705 units. Okay, so an example of average. Okay, then sum. So instead of average, it will do the sum of all the amount. Okay, then count. So count is, we have seen the count earlier, but count is basically if I run some query and I just want the row count. Okay, how many rows are there in the result? So that is using the count. Okay, the syntax is simple: count and star and whatever you want to um, mention here. Okay, so the column name in the result, I want the column name as total customer count, which is 200. Okay, now minimum functions, it will say that um, as first registration date from customer. Okay, so minimum. Okay, so minimum is basically, so now created at is a date, is a date field, and what we want to know is the first time when the entry was done. Okay, uh, in the created column, in the created at column, which what was the date when there was a first registration. Okay, so that is why this first registration. Okay, so first registration date, let us see in the prompt. Okay, so it is commonly used to find the earliest date, the lowest price, or the first record in an alphabetical list. Okay, basically minimum function. Now the practical aspect is, hmm, okay, okay. There is one more thing where it is basically some technical term to know that when was the first user created or the first time registration was done, and when was the last time registration was done. Okay, so that is there. Okay, then the max function, so the latest registration. So this is the first registration, and now I am going for the latest registration. Okay, so latest was 2016, and the earliest or the first was 2021. So there's a huge gap. So yeah, maybe used for some analytics. Okay, so now we'll see window function. So window function is basically row number, rank, and those things. So uh, window function. So we'll see the row number. Right. So the row number window function assigns a unique sequential integer to each row within the result set or a partition, unlike rank. So basically the row number will assign a unique and sequential integer row. Okay, now what we will do is this command for row number. Okay, so I'll just do DESC descending order and file. So now what is happening, based on the created at column, okay, I am getting some filter, but I am automatically assigning one row number as a customer sequence. Now if you see, this is from the customers table, and in the customers table there is no column called as customer sequence. Okay, there is no column called as customer sequence. So this column I am asking to generate on the fly in the result, and what are the contents of this column is basically row number. Okay, so I'm getting a row number here. Okay, for some business need I can have some row number. Okay, you can have row number as numbers, or you can have a row number as some numerical, alphanumerical, anything is fine. Okay, now coming to the next one, which is rank. Okay, so rank. Okay, so first let us see the so rank is basically having some ranks, and the rank can be, duplicates also. Okay, so let me just rank. Okay, rank. So it's a window function is used to assign a ranking to each row within a partition of the result set. Okay, unlike row number, rank will assign the same number to rows that have identical values. Okay, so yes, that is a difference. So row number is simply sequential, but the rank can be duplicates, because if the condition is matching for multiple rows, they are having the same rank. Okay, for example, in the school, if there are two subjects, and let's say there are five students who have scored, let's say out of let's say 90 marks for all the subjects. Okay, so there are two students and they got the same marks in all the three subjects, so they are having same rank. Okay, so that is why we have a rank. So this rank. Okay, right, so I'll just fire this query once again. Right, so this is a rank. Okay, there are multiple people having the same rank. Okay, rank 1, rank 2, rank 3, and so on. Okay, now entile. Okay, so let's see the entile thing first in the prompt. Okay, so in Postgre, the entile function is a window function that divides an ordered result set into n. Okay, n tile, so n number of division, roughly equal groups, buckets, and assigns a bucket number to each row. In a professional business context, n tile is primarily used for decile or quartile analysis, such as identifying the top 25% of the customers by spending, or bottom 10% for re-engagement campaigns, and so on. Okay, that is the n tile. So basically dividing into number of rows. Right. So here, if you see this command, okay, so n tile 4, that means it will give into four values. So let me just do decremental order. So there are four n tiles. Okay, so 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, right. Okay, now then we have lag. So let's see the lag. Okay, lag window function allows you to access data from previous row in the same result set without the need for complex self-join. Okay, it is an essential tool for time series analysis and trend reporting. If in the professional context, lag is frequently used to calculate the time elapsed between customer sign-ups. This is the one thing I was talking about. So time elapsed between customer sign-ups and to compare the customer's current spending against their previous transaction. So the time customer has signed up, and after sign up the customer has gone to the e-commerce website and explored some data and maybe gone to the checkout, and maybe out of 10 he has purchased let's say two products. So that is the overall time spent, time elapsed between the customer signups, okay, and the final journey. Okay, so that is the lag call, lag window function. So let's see this. Okay, previous order amount. Okay, so there are places where previous order amount is null, okay, which is fine, uh, but we are getting what we want. Okay, now lead. So again the lead function. Okay, lead. So the lead window function is the logical counterpart of, basically opposite of lag. It allows you to access the data from the subsequent row or the next row in the same result set without performing self join. In professional data analysis, lead is primarily used for forecasting, calculating the duration between events, and identifying the next uh, identifying the next action a user took. Okay, so lead. So next order amount, right? So next order amount. So earlier it was previous order amount. Now it is the next order amount. Okay, so this is what is expected. Now TCL, transaction control language. Um, Basically, we have some controls, or if you want to try something and if that doesn't work, then we want to roll back, or we want to commit, or we want to do some you know temporary data on the temporary operation on the data, but at the same time we don't want to um, commit something which will accidentally do some major changes for um, all the entries in the database. Okay, for example, so fundamental concept in the database integrity is known as asset properties. Okay, so let's say we by default make uh, so what we'll do in the orders table, we'll add one column called as status. Okay, and that status can be like premium customer, non-premium customer, let's say inactive customer, active customer, and so on. So by mistake if we set all the customers status as premium, okay, so we don't want that. So what we do, we will use this um, TCL, the transaction control language, will temporarily make the change. Let us see, and we will analyze. Okay, if it is working as expected, if as expected, then okay, we will do a commit. Otherwise, we'll do a rollback. Okay, so we'll see that's the things one by one. Okay, so for that, I have to uh, alter the table orders and add one column called as status. Okay, so orders table, there should be one column called as status. So for that, I have to go to the schema public table, order, refresh. So order, and you see there's an additional column called as status. Okay, now so we will do a begin and commit. So I'll explain this. So what I'm doing a begin some major operation, update the order table, set the status as premium, where if the total amount is 1000. Okay, so I want to do this for some specific condition. So I can of course do this individual command, but then if it is huge data or some condition data or there's a huge condition, I want to be safe. That's why I'm using this begin and commit. Okay, so let us run this. Okay, so if you see 51 rows are updated and I have committed the change. Okay, so in the orders table, let us see in the order table, refresh, and you see the some of the places the amount, the status is premium, and it is for others it is not premium. Okay, and so on, premium and uh, not premium. Okay, now right, now we'll see the rollback. So rollback is for safety condition. So common command is to is used to undo all the changes made during the current transaction. Okay, so what I'm doing, for example, for all the orders, I'm setting the total amount as total amount into 1.1. Okay, just some invalid condition, invalid command I have to I have raised. So but I don't want that to actually get committed, so that's why I'll use a rollback. Okay, so here, right, I'm doing an update. This is an invalid thing I have done. So after that I'll do a select. Okay, and then I'll do a rollback. Okay, so basically inspect the math and then undo the changes. Okay, so right, so let me fire this command, and the 0 rows are affected because I have done a rollback. Okay, so let me do this, select star from orders, or I can simply go here, orders, refresh. Okay, so it remained the same. There is no change in the total amount. Okay, total amount remained the same. So that is the rollback. Then we have commit. So we have seen the commit example already. Okay, so what I'm doing, simply I'm in the customers table, I'm setting the country as CA if it is Canada. Okay, and then I'm committing. Okay, so let me do this first. Select query, so there is a country called as Canada. Okay, now I'm changing it with the CA. Okay, and then I'm doing a commit. So that means I want that changes to be reflected 100%, right? There is no transaction in progress. Okay, because it is all done. Now I will do the select query once again. Okay, so that didn't happen, the Canada CA. Set country equal to CA, where country equal to Canada. Okay, so country equal to Canada. Okay, begin like this. So customers, okay, that didn't change. If I do this directly, 47 rows are affected, but it is not happening in the uh, inside begin and commit. Okay, let's have a look into it in the customers table, right? So customer table, refresh. So sending order and CA. Okay, this is changed. Okay, we'll see that. Now rollback, we have seen rollback already. So similar example. So scenario, you accidentally updated all orders to be refunded. Okay, this is a very disaster condition. So uh, I don't want the refunded status for all the orders, maybe for some selected orders, selected customers. um, so instead of just a specific customers, okay, so set it as refunded. Then you can do a select query just to verify, okay, there was a mistake, and then you can roll back. Okay. So first we will do select star from orders. Okay, so the status is premium. Okay, there's only one status. I'll do one thing. I will raise this query. Okay, so refunded as 200. Okay, and I have done a rollback. So after rollback, the status should not be refunded. Should This should be same earlier. The previous, the status was um, premium. Okay, yeah. So it is rolled back, and if you see, the status is still the premium. Okay, the status did not change to refunded. Okay, right. So that is one. Then save point is basically for debugging purpose. So you will see the save point here. In PostgreSQL, save point is a special mark inside a transaction that allows you to perform a partial rollback. Okay, while a standard rollback undoes every action since the begin command, rolling back to a save point only undoes the commands executed after that specific mark was set. Okay, so that is a slight difference. This is highly effective for complex multi-step procedures where you want to attempt an operation but keep the previous successful steps if that specific operation fails. Okay, so save point, right? If you see, there is a save point here, and because of some mistake, if you want to roll back, you can say roll back to save point this one. So after this, whatever was changed, that will not be reflected, and that will be rolled back to the this save point. Okay, after this point, so from here to here. Okay, and so on. So let's run this. Okay, right, so no rows affected. Okay, because it was a rollback. Now there are some other commands, basically case command and null keyword and so on. So case is basically uh, if the country is between this, then so I'll make it as North America in the result display. If it is UK, Germany, I'll say Europe, and India it is Asia, and so on. So it's a case statement or case command. Okay, so if you see the market segment column, which is a newly created on the fly column, and it will be only in the results where I can see the segregation between Asia, Europe, and North America. Okay, now next is null keyword. Again, if it is something is null, then based on that I want to see the output, right? So yeah, so there's no result. Okay, so that is all about um, SQL thing. Okay, we have seen, I think, about 90%, 95% of this. So if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.